Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well, the whole one of you. So let's see. Well, let's see who we have here. So I guess till you guys show up, I'll give you a break and I'll go pour myself some tea. How about that? Sounds good? There you go. we're back. We have Samya Tilenge says, hi, female 18 India. Hello there. So now we just joined by another one, too. So let me know who you are that you just joined. And you guys are free to send your questions in before others show up. All right. So we have our first question. And says 1R3U, hello, male 22. Assam, hello there. Somya says, how to deal with narcissistic mother who is toxic and controlling. I have moved out, but she still don't allow me to hang out with my friends. If I do, she just emotionally blackmails me. You are 18 years old and you have moved out. How does she emotionally blackmails you? Give me an example so I understand better. Like she says, what? I raised you, I went through all these difficulties, I almost died, give you birth, or whatever how it might be. But regardless of what it is, you need to put an end to the blackmail. Because if you don't, it will never stop. Because you're setting a precedent for them to know that this works, even though you're aware that they're doing what they're doing, but you still comply, and therefore, in their mind, this works. So this will continue, and before you know it, you will get used to this treatment, and you will not consider yourself worthy of any different behavior or treatment from them, because you have become accustomed and have somehow it would seem to you that you have given them the right to treat you and behave with you that way, and that you would comply. as if it's your duty to do so. Now, mind you, I understand that you're 18, you're very young. However, I don't know what your situation is. Are you actually physically, financially moved out? Or are you receiving financial help from your father or from your mother? Because that would be something that they would hold back and try to make you to comply. So I first got to need to know your situation. How independent are you? Do you have a job? Do you work? Do you make your own money, pay your own rent? Because they will use all that. If they're still providing that to you, they were going to use that as their PowerPoint. And eventually you may not have a choice but to comply because they've got your financial, economic powers in their hands. And that would be quite unfortunate. Okay, until you respond to me, I'll go to the next question. 1 or 3 uses I have been chatting with a girl on Instagram and it's going well. Hoping to meet her soon. However, I found out she has 2 male best friends, which annoyed me. In my experience, it's a red flag. Well, everybody has some best friend one way or another. If you're a man, you may have 1 or 2 or few women best friends. And if you're a woman, you may have 1 or 2 male best friends. Because women think that they can be friend with men without any expectations from men, which is of course false. If they have if they're a looker, any man who's their friend is always hiddenly, maybe would be, not showing it, but he would be hoping that the situation would arise and he would be able to get closer to her. So, but having said that, women don't think necessarily that way. They think they can be friends, and if someone is nice to them and doesn't show that he's going to make any sexual advances or expectations or any that of that sort, they think that it's genuinely that's how it's going to be forever. But it is not. Every man who is interested in women would be on the lookout to find an opportunity to get closer than a friend to his female friend, especially if she's a good looking girl. So the fact that she has a couple of best friends, to this point, it's normal. But how she interacts with them and how much time she interacts with them, into what level she interacts with them after you guys became boyfriend, girlfriend, that could be something to be discussed. But at this point, you're jumping the gun. She doesn't know that you guys going to hit it off and be for each other or whatnot. And you can't be sure that she's the one, although you're horny, and that's nature of the man side, that when they talk to a girl, they already think she's their girlfriend. And then they have this role of possessing her and expecting her to now change her course of life and her policies right away before anything really is concrete, just because you have created in your mind that she's your girlfriend. And now you expect her not to have any male friend. Now, first of all, go meet her and then see if you guys are really, getting it on. And if you guys became close, then obviously she would make that decision herself if she is a thinker, if she is wise. Otherwise, you may subtly and diplomatically bring it up after a while and say, dear, uh, it's not really the same as it is for women. Men don't like their woman to be hanging around other men because you obviously don't have any romantic interest in them, but every single human male, a heterosexual male, who is a friend with a good looking girl doesn't think the same way that the girl is thinking. They are friendly, but they're hoping that the opportunity would arise and they would be able to be closer. And even if that is not going to happen for a while, but it is not really looking, complimentary to me. And you can tell her, how would you feel if I have a best friend, a girl as a best friend, and I'm with you, but I share everything with her, talk with her, and all that? Would you feel uncomfortable and you feel rather, um, I'm not really doing justice to our relationship? So then you can talk about it. But at the moment, it's just neither here nor there. Go meet her first and see where you guys go, if anywhere. Lots of time talking on the phone and long distance or whatever, or on Instagram, it could all seem okay. But once you guys get to know each other, you might not appreciate each other's behavior, mentality, expectations, standards, and whatever else. And getting back to Sumaya and her narcissistic mother, as she put it, says, right now I'm in college, living in hostel, dependent financially on my parents, like the basic freedom that every teenager get. I'm struggling for that. Like my mom don't allow me to go on my friend's birthday to wear clothes which makes me confident, and when I don't agree with her, she just say you are arrogant. From next time, don't ever talk to me. Yeah, I know. That's a very typical way of some mothers who want to get their will in, and that's very disrespectful and dominating, undemocratic. To some extent, they feel they have the right to command you or dictate to you who you see, where you go, and so on, because they feel responsible still at the age of 18, because it's a very beginning of adulthood and they're not going to let go the ties. And that's understandable. Imagine if you are having children and they are just hitting 18 and they're living on their own in campus or in hostel or whatever it is that it goes on there, and you would be worried about her, especially if it's a girl. You'd be worried about her, who she meets, who's trying to take advantage from her, what circumstances she's there for. It's not that she doesn't want you to have fun at the birthday. I don't think it's that she doesn't want you to have fun and go to your friend's birthday. She's afraid of what you could be exposed there to, such as drugs, smoking, alcohol, and then from the alcohol effects, maybe somebody takes advantage of you. They don't know who you're going to meet. They're worried about you, if that guy is going to be good enough for you or not. These are certain concerns that at this age you might not see it from their point of view, but they're actually trying to protect you because they're fearful of the society, fearful of the bad apples around. They don't know who you're going to be associating with, especially that you're not living at home anymore. So give them a little credit, and that they could be concerned and scared because they still don't know if you can handle the outside life at this age. They still consider you their baby. It was just yesterday you were underage. Now you're 18. Things haven't changed. You're still rather inexperienced in the, uh, you know, um, the grand scheme of things. So they're trying to protect you. So I think the best way for you is, instead of thinking that she's a narcissist, try to see it from her point of view and try to introduce your point of view to her very calmly, very nicely, very diplomatically, very daughterly. And sit down with her, bring her some tea, and say, Mom, I really appreciate the fact that you're watching, looking after me. I know you're worried about me, who I meet, where I go, who shows up in those birthdays, or what's happening there, if there are any alcohol, if there's any drugs or things. I understand that and I appreciate that. You're very loving, Mom, and you always took care of me. Thank you. At the same time, Mom, I want to ask for a little bit more faith in me. After all, I'm your daughter and you're a strong woman. You've taught me well. I'm not going to be so weak or pushover that anybody can, offer me something and I would indulge alcohol or smoking or drugs or anything. I'm careful. I know where my values are. I know what my family is like. I know what my parents have taught me, and they want the best for me. I understand that. That's why I want you to also trust me as your offspring, as you trust yourself, and I bet you will not be disappointed because I also want to prove to myself that I can go to these places and still withstand any kind of invitation to anything inappropriate, and I would be able to get an experience. But instead of staying there for 5 hours, I'll stay there, let's say, for 3 hours to begin with until I'm a little bit older, and you will see how I handle life, and then you would probably feel more comfortable. But I do understand where you're coming from, Mom, and I appreciate that. I want you to also understand where I'm coming from and appreciate that I need to grow up and I need to have that opportunity to feel I'm grown up by being able to make such decisions on my own. I bet you if you talk like that, the least she's going to say, she says, holy fuck, she's really matured. And then you can judge what she's going to come up with. What do you think about that? Breathu Barum says, male 35 India says, I am bothered about the post of my girlfriend. We are in relationship since 4 years. How to deal with the intrusive thoughts about my girlfriend having sex with her ex in the past. I'm sorry, I thought you said post my, oh, past. I'm bothered about the past of my. Did you want your girlfriend to be a member of the convent? I mean, you want to go around and meet girls and experience sex and all that. And you weren't around. It's not like she cheated on you. And every human being falls in love or lust. That's the nature of human being. And as you wish to be with some girl, at certain time, girls also would like to be with some guy. And if they are, then you're going to hold it against them because what? Because 2 years later you were supposed to show up? Is that fair? I understand as a man how you would feel because traditionally they have said that women is a commodity and should have been wrapped around with papers and nobody touch her until you arrive. Well, that's egoistic and that's traditional. And I understand, familiar with that. I come from a similar fucking culture that puts this in our head that unless the girl is virgin, then she's no good. This garbage should stop. I agree. If the girl has had like 40 boyfriends, fuck that. You move on. If she has had 20 boyfriend, fuck that. You move on. 10 is even too much. Depends on how old she is. If she's like 40, 10, I guess is acceptable. But if she's 20 or 25 or 30 and she has had 10 relationships, sexual relations, well, fuck that. That's like she's already not really able to make right decisions. She make right decisions for herself as far as just having fun. But she doesn't treat herself seriously. She doesn't think of herself of a valued uh, lady, and she doesn't think of herself as lady. She thinks, okay, she's like boys. She can do whatever they want. Ah, I don't know. It depends on her, but I would not necessarily appreciate if I'm like 20 years old and I have a girlfriend that has been who's already had 5, 6 boyfriends at age 20. Oh, I wouldn't want to be with that girl. And if I am, it's just for fun. It's nothing serious. So instead of you being so sensitive, understand that just like you, she has the right to have some fun. And she has, you know, one or two or three or four boyfriends, one of them or two of them were serious. Well, that's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. So get off your high horse and just enjoy her personality, her presence in your life, what she's sharing with you. You know, she's not a, there's no meter running to say, oh, she's been with someone. So what? You've been with someone. So fuck off. That's my that's my very friendly, loving final words. In other words, don't make a big deal out of something that you've already done yourself. If it was over a number of things, yeah, okay, I agree with you. But now, just see how it goes. You guys can still fall in love and be okay. Chinmay says, hi, Meran. Good day. Hello, Chinmay. Don't forget age and the rest of it. And Bertha Barros says she had only one boyfriend. Well, then, hallelujah. Not a problem whatsoever. She's still got another four or five onto her credit. All right. And Chinmay says, the anxiety has so become a part of the routine that when I'm happy, I feel that something is wrong. And then I wonder if it's the calm before the storm. Well, remember, these are the time that you can use Dr. Schwartz's 4 steps. So if you have anxious, you interpret it. You say, I feel anxiety now. So that is relabeling your feeling. So you feel anxious, you say it, you relabel it, you explain it to yourself. I feel anxiety now. Then you reframe it. Is there something wrong? Or do I feel something is wrong? There's a difference. There could be something wrong, but it's not what you think that is wrong. It could be something else, but the anxiety makes you think that something new is coming. No. So reframe it. Relabel. I feel anxiety now. Reframe it. Is there something wrong? Or I feel something wrong. Then you say, yeah, I feel something wrong. There's nothing wrong. Then you refocus. Once you have already introduced, interpreted, noticed, recognized this feeling of anxiety, and you labeled it, I feel anxiety now. Then you reframed it. Is there something wrong? Or I feel something wrong. I feel something wrong. And then you refocus from this to something very simple but positive activity, such as pouring yourself a good cup of tea, listening to some music, playing some chess, something that you like to do. So you refocus your attention from this that has shown up, which you already relabeled and reframed, and now you refocus from here to there, to something simple. Maybe watch a movie, maybe listen to music, maybe play music, maybe make tea, or whatever else. Talk to a friend, go take a walk, go shopping. And when you do all these 3 steps, the 4th step is easy. The brain reevaluates that feeling of anxiety after these 3 steps and says, no worries. I keep going on my. You change your mind and your attention and focus, and now you're ready to go to meet other things. You help the brain to refocus somewhere else after having recognized what fictitious thing is being fed into your brain and is suggesting to you. So, and Chinmay also said, I was hearing an interview in which the actor's father had developed a mental condition in which he was unable to eat since his mind comprehended the food as acid. It was quite scary. Well, it's, you have an OCD brain, and OCD brain is very receptive to suggestions. That's why when the brain makes some kind of a false suggestion of any kind, feeling or interest or whatever, you, who's not the brain, is influenced and believes what the brain suggested. Because you and brain are two different systems, separate, independent. But you are susceptible to accepting suggestions when you have OCD brain. And that is why you should be very focused on the fact that I am receptive to suggestions. Therefore, I understand and recognize this is a suggestion, and I'm receptive to suggestion. Therefore, I do not believe this suggestion to be of any credibility or value. In other words, in short, in French, you say, fuck it. And then you go and move on. And Chinmay says, and now I have intrusive thoughts of the same when I'm eating. Well, then you can simply say, well, I might die when I'm eating this, but you know what? I'm stronger than my beliefs. I'm going to eat it because it was cooked by my mother or this restaurant, and nobody's fucking crazy to do what that fucking program said. That's how you face facts and defeat the bullshit that is running around your head. Simple. And that's what you got to do every time. And say, yeah, I might die, but I'm going to have it anyhow. Unless you're sure that's got full of shit in it. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, do notice that this channel is operating on a new system. Go ahead, Ash, explain the system to them. And so I'm looking for another question here. Chinmay, people can say whatever they want to say. It is up to you, your reaction. You cannot stop people's uttering or movies or your brain's garbage and intrusive thoughts. But you have a choice to veto that, what you hear, the suggestion that is being offered to you by brain or by other people, and choose what you think is best for your life rather than being subjected to any suggestion here and there. And I hope our admin is awake and explains to you guys the way we do live streams now in regards to making sure that the channel is going to be supported. Longil Jacques, okay, I hope I didn't butcher the name. Now, you haven't told us your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. If you wouldn't mind, please do that before I read your question. I don't know how many of you have been promoting this channel. Remember, the channel needs to be supported, and by new subscribers, viewers, promoting the channel to get more exposure. Otherwise, economically, we'll just wither and die. So now realize that these are some of the things you can do, and the admin is going to hopefully explain what we need to do to support the channel. And Langile, this female 40 Kenya. All right. She says, I keep flip-flopping from wanting my ex back, manifest, to not wanting him back. He ended things, told me he was unhappy, and blamed breakup on me, struggling with standing firm on a decision. Why? I keep flip-flopping. Okay. You said that once before. Okay. Now, what's the question here? The guy broke up with you. Why do you want him back? Why would you ever want someone who doesn't want to be with you? What kind of respect do you guys have for yourself, guys and girls? If someone, for whatever the fuck the reason is, says with words or actions, like disappears or ghosts you or tells you or comes up with a reason, seems logical, legitimate, could be a lie, could be not, doesn't matter. Somehow, when someone breaks up with you or tells you he doesn't want to be with you, why would you want to be with them? Don't you have respect for yourself? Don't you expect a good echelon of company? A person who is actually reliable, trustworthy, committed, stable, credible? Why would you want to be with someone who, right or wrong, says, I don't want to be with you? What is your end game with that choice? You know, when someone says, I don't want to be with you, and you try to convince them, they will always think of you as an inferior, and they will want to dominate you and get you be a gopher, because every time they might just say, well, you see, I told you it's not going to work. I'm not going to be with you. I want to leave now. And that is the feeling that nobody, man and woman or woman, doesn't like to feel. Somebody is taking away something that he or she wants. And for that to be complied with, that you will continue having that relationship because you somehow desire that relationship for whatever the reason, I don't know, you will put up with lots of shit. And before you know it, you have no more respect in her eyes or in his eyes than just being a doormat. So why would you want that to turn that way? If someone for any reason says, I don't want to be with you, say, well, I came, I understand that, and I don't have any desire to be with someone who doesn't want to be with me, who can't respect and understand my worth and value. Therefore, there's the door. You're welcome. Have a nice day, and it was nice to know you, and now you can go. It might be difficult for you because you are fending for that desire. My ego. I have to get affirmation. If a person leaves me, then I'm not affirmed. I'm not whole. I need her thoughts or his thoughts that tells me I'm good. Why? It's only your actions and your thought that matters about yourself. Otherwise, if you want to listen to other people to tell you who you are, they're going to be using you and abusing you, because people are selfish. They want to use you for themselves. So as soon as somebody says, for whatever reason, I don't think we should be together, I don't want to be with you, say, oh yeah, okay, that's fine. I never want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with me or doesn't respect me as much as she should or he should. So therefore, I appreciate your time. We had good fun, and there you go. It's not going to be the end of the world. You're going to be fine. It's just that you're going to be more fine than if you try to convince the guy or the girl to stay in that relationship, because you're going to lose your own respect. But when you behave the way I just said it, in response to that kind of a uttering or request, you feel magnificent, even though you've lost something that you really desired. But you feel so good about yourself, even though you didn't get what you really wanted. But that has to do with desire and ego. It doesn't have anything to do with your persona and affirmation. You would get more affirmed than 100 people telling you you're a good person or a bad person if you actually react correctly after someone tells you, I don't want to be with you. You don't have to get mad. You just say, well, I understand. And we all have our choices to make, and that's fair enough. And the thing is, I really don't want to be with anyone who doesn't want to be with me. So it's two-way street. That's the end of it. It says, I guess it's fear of not meeting someone again. It feels like 10 years down the drain. Yeah, 10 years is better than 20 years. You could be married to the guy and 20 years and few children, and then he would leave. These sort of people are not reliable. If the guy is saying it after 10 years, the son of a bitch didn't say it in the third or fourth or fifth year. And he hasn't even married you to say, okay, 10 years was because you guys were married. He had the choice, but he hadn't come up with the one that he was perhaps looking to change you to until he did. And until then, he kept you rather than breaking it off sooner. And you probably have been rolling over and doing whatever trick he wanted to just to keep the relationship together rather than expecting certain standards and certain treatment. That's why the guy found you no more challenge, because you had no expectations. You had become like a doormat. I don't know if I'm right or not because I don't know your whole story, but whatever it is important to me is that you should never want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you. That's the end of the story. I don't care. 10 years, 20 years, whatever is left of your life is worth a lot more than that 10 years if you want to live in certain kind of a oblivion or sadness or feeling sorry about yourself or lack of respect for yourself. All right. So, and the fact that you think when you would find another one, it's always the case. When we have a prospect, not even a girlfriend or a boyfriend, not a relationship yet, a prospect, something that is going towards possibility of being a relationship. And even in that stage, it breaks down. We feel like, oh, the hunt gave away. The hunt went away, escaped away. Because for us, relationship is like food. We need it. And when we're so close to get it and then it doesn't happen, you feel very affected. But remember, being affected and still trying to get that relationship is like having a sandwich and you know it's rotten and you still want to eat it just because you have a sandwich. You got to make a decision. That sandwich is a sandwich in my hand, but it's rotten. If I have it, I get sick and it's not going to taste good. I worth a lot more than eating something that is rotten or it's not tasting fresh. Why would I do that to myself? I am conditioning myself that I don't worth much. I should be okay with a rotten sandwich or an old sandwich or something that is not really tasty for me or I don't like it, but I got to put up with it. You are training yourself to become a low value person. But when you respect yourself and such situations happens, you say, well, that sandwich is rotten. So are you. I don't want to be with someone who doesn't value me. If you don't value me, the hell with you. I value myself because that's the choice that you have. All right. We have Jason Byrne. Oh, Bjorn. Okay, fine. All right. And your age, gender, where you're tuning in from before I read your question. It's not about me living on diet of rice, Ash. It's about the fact that the channel needs to be economically healthy. our channel is running on my pocket. And if all these research and interesting responses that you all enjoy is not worth anything, then nobody should be here. If you're here and you enjoy the things that we share in here, it responds that fits your needs, then the channel needs support so we can advertise, we can, do better videos, buy better equipments. There are certain things that I can't provide for it anymore. It's been 13 years on my shoulder. Now it's time for you guys to promote the channel, talk about it on chat lines, and invite people to come in, talk about it, and with ways that are available, as Ash has suggested, the super chats and whatnot for the help that you get, that will get the channel the help that it needs to be able to support itself and pay for the things that it needs to make, better equipments and so on. Otherwise, I've been carrying this channel for 13 years because I make my money somewhere else and then I spend it on this. But if you guys want me to do this the rest of my life, and even more seriously than it's been for the past 13 years, then it has to be self-sufficient and it shouldn't be on my pocket all the time. So, Jason, you need to let me know your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. So as Ash says, everybody can get a question in, complimentary, but anything after that, then we need to help the channel, all of us. Now, Ash is actually going out of his way with all the challenges he's going through. He just helped the channel with £5, and that worth a lot because I know that's not necessarily easy. But however, he has enough value for this channel and respect that it helps the channel. Says, get yourself some British tea. The hell with the British tea. Is Indian tea, Assam tea. The British went there and took their wealth away. So, for the records, and here's my Indian friends. Rah, 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 rah. Meh, rah, meh, rah. But thank you for that, Ash. I actually drink roasted dandelion roots, which neither comes from Britain or India. So I'm safe in the middle. And here it is. And credit to Ash. I didn't expect that. It reminds me a joke that Nasruddin was a Turkish philosopher 1,000 years ago. And one day he was standing in line at the bakery, fresh bread. Apparently it was, I don't know, wartime or whatever it was. And it was like about 2 blocks of lineup. He figured, and he was at the end of the line, he figured, geez, by the time I get to the bakery's, window to get wicket to get my bread, buy my bread, it's all over, it's done. What can I do? He looks around and says, there's a chimney about 1.5 blocks away, and the smoke is coming out of it. You start yelling, he says, hey, everybody in the line. Do you see that smoke? Everyone says, yes. Do you know what it is? No. They're giving steak there, free. Everybody comes out, and he's left, and nobody in front of him, and the bakery. And he's just about to go buy the bread. Says, what if they really are giving steak? So he starts running there as well, ends up at the end of the line again. So we are talking about the channel needs money, and Ash ends up paying it himself. That's exactly like Nasruddin, the Turkish philosopher. So, because Ash is in a challenging time of his life, yet he has had enough appreciation for the channel to help the channel with the little that he has, which is quite a bit generous gift. I appreciate it, and I definitely will have put it to good work. And we need some lightings that we could have, and maybe we can have, I don't know, some kind of a green screen, so we can jazz and pizzazz this a little bit more. You guys, if you haven't checked my TikTok or Instagram, please do. There are lots of shorts that I put on that. Also, same things I put it on YouTube. You can also stay here and check it out. And I've now put two videos tonight that I'm editing, and I will upload it hopefully by tomorrow, because it's a long process by the time to do it. And these are uh, not about breakups and not about OCD, but they're about a topic that is very dear to my heart, and is talk about discussions about consciousness, thoughts, brain, mind, talking about fear, where does fear come from. And these two videos and other videos that will come are short, but yet relatively short, like 4 minutes, 3 minutes. But they do bring your attention to certain things that most people don't know, and it would be a good complement to our discussions about breakups and relationships and OCD and OCD substance. Are you telling me that you can't hear me? Is that what you said, Ash? Can you guys hear me? Can you let me know? Because I don't know what that means. Maren, you just clapped and destroyed your microphone. Oh, I see. You mean by that thing. Okay. So you can hear me then. And oh, okay. And Majid is here, says, good morning, Mehran. Good morning, Majid. And Majijan, don't forget age and where you're tuning in from, if you will. Oh, I see. I see. I see. So is distortion gone now? You see, this is one of the reasons, because we're doing this on a small wooden table, and that's probably echoes when I touch the table. So Majid is UK 37. Says you gym bro. Yes, that's right. Well, actually, I did go to the gym again today, as usual, get my fix. And Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday nights, gym is usually quiet. So it's the best time to have the stations for, like, working legs. Tonight I did legs. I hadn't done it for a long time. One thing actually is quite disappointing at this gym is that they have Smith machines set up the deadlift stations that you can deadlift free. I mean, instead these are stuck to, and I don't like that. So I haven't done deadlift for a long time, and I hate it because I like doing that. That's really good for the back. You see on the right. So anyhow, but I did squats and the leg press. Distortion is still present. I want to try. Okay, let me see if I can help it. Tell me if it's any better afterwards. Is it any better now? Or is it still distorted? I just changed the port from the connecting the amplifier thing. Let me know if it's any better or the distortion is still here. Still cracking. All right. So is it now still the same, or is it better now? If I switch it again. Anyone? Anyone? Still cracking? Cracking? Not better yet? Okay. So I'm just gonna... All right. How about now? I hope it's better now. Or is it? Can you respond, please? Hmm. I don't know what to say. Is this any better? Is it? And how about now? Is this any good? Yeah, I did all that, but I don't think anything has come out of it. It's all fixed and tight here. Okay. Um, I guess this will take care of it. Now it's probably good now. Let me know. But right now it's clear, right? There is no crackling right now. Yeah, yeah. Because I took that off. Sometimes it happens. That's because we're low budget channel. And so this is why the super chats are necessary, so we can buy some new equipment. We need some lighting for the camera. We need some new microphone sets and stuff. So you guys remember, promote the channel. Now let's go back to what we Auto is here. Auto Gecko. And and Majid says it would be great to share your pre-workout routine. I'm used to products, high stimulant products. I take no stimulants. I take no pre-workout. I just eat my breakfast or my food a few hours before, and I go work as hard as I can, like as I feel, and I enjoy. I take longer breaks between the sets, and then after that, I have my protein bar, and then I go home and have good meal, healthy meal. Nothing else. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink pre-workout. And the only thing I think I should do, which I have forgotten, is my mm, chain amino acids that I used to have, but I forget. somehow. So, so looks like that we have answered all the questions. Jason is from Arizona, 36 Arizona, USA. Thank you for that, Jason. So let me go to Jason. I guess I never got to his question. Jason says, I'm already living a diet of, of rice in America, living under Sleepy Joe. Oh, yeah. The Joe gotta go. Joe gotta go. That's a new slogan. And Jason says, I like that advice. I think the same way. Without self respect, we are nothing. True. And Jason says, Jason doesn't say. That's all Jason said. Ash says, I do have a question. Well, you certainly deserve it and you're entitled to it, especially that you paid a super chat. So definitely with priority. Says, there's this girl I've been talking to for a few weeks, on and off. We're very into each other. She wants a piece of me, but she lives on the other side of the country. Ooh. I hope you've done some video calls and at least you know what you might be traveling for, if you did, or or she's traveling towards you. Ash says we can't meet until after the new year. Fair enough. But I see her online a lot and she doesn't initiate convo with me. This isn't normally a problem, but I don't want to be initiating all the time. Well, tell her that. What's there to lose? Says, listen, I like you and you seem to have affinity toward me, but it is not a balanced feeling if one always has to initiate the discussion. That makes me feel that it is only my imagination that you want to get to know me better. Otherwise, I don't see any action with that suggestion of mine, thinking that we want to get to know each other. Because I certainly do. And if you don't, I would very much like to see efforts that you make to talk to me rather than me always initiating some discussion, because that makes me feel like if I'm intruding rather than we are on equal terms. Just put it out to her. And Ash says she is definitely into me though, and said she's willing to drive. Well, then let her drive, for God's sake, and stop fucking around. Just stop bringing this up. Just tell her, drive. Yeah, but yeah, some of us are like that. I mean, many of us, we don't like to chase, and that's fine. But you're not, if you're concerned about it, just put it to her, just as I suggested. Very, non-serious, but yet make your point across. And if she's really into you, she'll appreciate it. She says, for sure, I'll make initiative. Yeah, there you go. Fair enough. But make sure when she comes in, then she's taken care of. Like you got to handle some comforts, and maybe she stays with you. I don't know how the situation is, but get prepared in case she comes. Yeah, well, you might think that way, but in reality, we're always kind of hoping that it would be mutual. All right. Well, guys, It looks like that tonight is a bit late and not too many people here, and we've answered all the questions. It's been an hour and 25 minutes. So perhaps it's time for me to mosey on out and continue editing my videos, and maybe tomorrow I can upload them. And Aman Gatpol is here. Hello there. So I think we'll just move it to hopefully tomorrow as soon as I could have one, and then we'll have another one tomorrow night. So it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself, and to the others, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.